Today we're deep cleaning the PitmasterX offset smoker. We're gonna go all into the nooks and crannies and go into the dirty work, take everything out, clean it up, and make it look like brand new. As you can tell, I'm currently warming up the PitmasterX offset smoker. I'm about to season it, but oh boy, it was a big job getting this thing clean. I'm gonna take you with me, show you how I clean this up. We're gonna go all in. We're gonna clean up the firebox, the smoke chamber, all of the dirty work. It is gonna be bad, it's gonna be raw, it's gonna be ugly. So let's get in there and clean this thing up. The first thing that I'm gonna do is make sure that I wear the right clothing. Of course, I'm wearing my coveralls, a couple of Wellingtons, and an old fleece sweater. And that's definitely a minimum because I'm gonna get covered in a lot of grease and a lot of rust. Time to get my offset smoker out of the barbecue storage. I'm gonna roll it out and set it up, open everything up. And now we're going to take a closer look at why the PitmasterX offset smoker actually needs a proper spa day. If you take a look at the firebox, you can see that we have a little bit of rust on the top of the barbecue. It's not rusted fully through. This is something that we normally clean off very easily by just polishing it with a rag and then applying a new layer of oil. But today we're really going to take care of this. The firebox also has a lot of dust coverage and a lot of dog hairs and spider webs and all kinds of stuff that I really don't want on my barbecue. And the funny thing to me is that even though I clean my offset smoker during and after every cook that I do on it, it still attracts some dust and some debris. Even a little bit of bird poop is on this thing. And how's that even possible? But all of that I'm taking care of today. I'm also getting into the details of cleaning out all the grease that sits in the bottom and that sits in the bucket underneath the offset smoker. And the first thing that I'm going to do cleaning the offset smoker is getting rid of all the debris in the firebox. These are leftover ashes from my last cook. And of course I left them in because one, they're hot. And two, because ashes attract moisture, so all of the moisture in the surrounding air goes into the ashes and prevents rust. To clear out the ashes, I'm going to use a rounded scraper, which is actually from Napoleon grills, but this tool works really well for my offset smoker. And once I got the bigger parts out, I'm going to go in with a brush, get all the fine bits of ash out, and I'm going to just continue to do that until we have a beautiful, clean, smooth surface. I'm not going to bother seasoning the inside of the firebox because the next time I'm going to fire up this offset smoker, it's going to burn off immediately. That is how hot this is going to get. Of course, I'm going to catch all of the ashes in an ash bucket. This is a good habit because that ash bucket will prevent a fire at any time. So even though the ashes have been here for a couple of days, I'm just going to make sure that I don't put it anywhere other than either in my garden, which is going to be amazing for my plants. And now that I got the firebox cleaned out, it's time for the next dirty job. And it's going to be a lot worse than the firebox because now I'm going into the smoke chamber and there we have lots and lots of gunk and grease. First I'm going to remove the grill grates and I'm going to take a look underneath. And what you find there is a mixture of grease, smoke, barbecue sauce, barbecue seasoning. And it all sticks to the barbecue into one big gooey gunk. I don't know how to explain this, but this just looks absolutely dirty while I maintain this on a regular. Cleaning this part of the barbecue is actually something you have to do regularly to prevent grease fires in your offset smoker. And getting rid of the fat also prevents the fat from burning and the smoke of the burned fat to get onto your food, ultimately making it taste not as good as it can be with a clean fire. The debris that you see build up here is only from the last 3 cooks that I did on this offset smoker. To clean it up, I'm going to need a disposable aluminum tray, a scraper or a spatula like this, and I definitely recommend putting on a pair of disposable gloves. Just working your way from the top down to the bottom, and you're just going to keep doing that until you removed most of it. And then you want to go in with a brush and catch the last pieces of the gunk, remove it. This is also the moment that I'm going to brush the inside of the smoke chamber. There's no way I can reach in there with a scraper, but I got a trick to clean it up later on, getting it even more clean than just with a brush. And then of course we got the grease bucket underneath the offset smoke chamber. I got to remove it, and then I'm going to put my aluminum tray underneath the pipe. I'm just going to use this stick to remove any debris that's left in the pipe. It's not going to be a lot, but it's just something I want to do to make this as clean as possible. Because in the end, this is a spa day for my beloved offset smoker. And how comes the nasty job where I have to go and scrape out the bucket? and just go in with my hands and scrape out the grease. And now we did the most dirty job, so it becomes a little bit more glamorous after this. Yeah, because I understand it's not the most appetizing thing to watch after all. Now we're gonna go in and we're gonna clean this all up. But the most important thing is we got rid of the grease that was inside this barbecue and the big pieces of debris from the ashes and stuff like that. So that means we can now go in and clean this without containing the area that we're standing on too much. But we're gonna get out the big guns. And then the next step is to go in with a high pressure washer. That's right. Most of the time I don't recommend using a high pressure washer because it can do much more damage than it can do good. But in this case, we're talking about a heavy metal machine, an offset smoker that is so strong and so thick in its steel that whatever you throw at it, it can stand it. And since we're calling this spa day for my offset smoker, we're gonna go in. The first thing that I'm going to do is give it a high pressure wash. I intend to get off every little piece of rust and fat, all of which is loosely connected to the barbecue. So that means that I'm going to pressure wash every part of it. The firebox, the smoking section, the chimney, all of it is going to get a high pressure wash. Then I'm going to connect the soap dispenser to my high pressure washer and give it a bath, a nice soapy bath. I want to get that soap everywhere, and that is to get that last piece of grease connected to the soap so it discharges. And again, I'm going to get that soap everywhere and then follow it up again with a nice rinse. And that gets rid of all of our debris that comes from the barbecue. Now, of course, there are a few bits that I can't get off, so I'm going to use a little bit of this cleaning soap. Be careful with this because it's going to take all of the seasoning off of your barbecue, so just use it in places like the stainless steel where you got a little bit of gunk connected to it, and that's where I'm going to go in with this and a brush just to clean it up even further and get it nice and shiny. I've gotten it totally cleaned up. There's absolutely no more cleaning to do, but now we need to get it dry. But before I'm going to do that, since we got every debris off, I'm just going to take the opportunity to rinse off the dirt we created. Look at the stream of gunk away from the offset smoker. That debris has to go. It's something to do with the wife and the way the garden looks. But it's a quick fix, so let's give it a go. You know, happy wife, happy life. And now let's do before and after of the smoke chamber. You see that gunk, you see all that dirt? Of course we scraped it out, but now look at it after the pressure wash. How good does it look? And the pressure wash exposes all of the steel. So that means you can see that at the bottom we got everything safe from the grease and fat, and you get that clean exposed steel, and then a little higher you get some light rust, and up above you get that dark black seasoning. And exposing that tells us a lot about this offset smoker, and it tells me that it's in need of a little bit of TLC and that we definitely need a little bit more seasoning on the parts where it's got a little bit rusty. And of course, for an offset smoker like this with such thick steel walls, it means that this little bit of rust can never do any harm. But if you have an offset smoker built out of an old tank, that's going to eat away at your offset smoker over time. But if you want to hand this smoker over to your children one day, then you're going to take care of it like it's your baby. All that bare steel exposed to warm air, well, it's going to create fly rust. If we dry it as fast as possible, we minimize the amount of fly rust that we're going to get. But of course, you can't avoid it. And therefore I'm going to need a gas bowl, of course, and a really big flamethrower. It helps you get into the tiny spots where you can never get a towel, and you want to get that dry as well. I've got the smoker all dried up. It's starting to get really nice and warm. I can touch the end of the smoke chamber, so we're still getting to the point where it's going to be screaming hot. It's not yet time to season, but we're going to get it hotter and hotter. And once I get it hot, I'm going to take a towel and a little bit of sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is my absolute favorite to season the offset smoker with because it's got no fragrance. It doesn't smell like anything when the fat burns and the seasoning starts to set in. So that is what I love so much. Even though I'm cooking, I don't smell anything other than the meat being cooked. And the way that I like to go about it is to just put a little bit of sunflower oil on my rag, go over the smoker and just get it everywhere. But keep in mind, only a thin layer. I don't want stripes over my offset smoker. Just like with painting, you don't want to put too much on your brush, but we do have to make sure we get a little bit of that seasoning everywhere. Now I'm slowly losing the sunlight here, so I gotta work fast to make sure that it can still see every detail. And once I got everything in the oil, I'm just going to heat it up even more. And for the parts that I can't heat up with the fire inside the firebox, I'm going to use my flamethrower, my torch, so that even these parts are getting a nice layer of seasoning. And as you can tell, this offset smoker is starting to look like it's new again. Of course, I'm also going to clean the grill grates. I'm going to do that with a brush. I don't want anything else on my food. Get it nice and cleaned up, and then put a little bit of oil on and season it inside the barbecue. And the same thing I'm going to do for my side shelf, and that is the last bit of job that I have to do to get it absolutely perfect, re-seasoned, and oh boy, did it needed it. Okay guys, I'm losing daylight here, but I think we got some beautiful results. Let's just do another before and after. Just take a look at that offset smoker before and now after. This thing is absolutely brand spanking new looking, super shiny, and it is a show pony once again. We got it nice and shiny. I still need to continue seasoning, and since I never stop barbecuing when it gets dark, I'm not going to stop cleaning when it gets dark either. But I do have to stop filming because, well, pretty soon you'll be just looking at a black screen. So thank you guys for watching. Hope it's inspiring to see my deep clean offset smoker. If you got any tips and tricks, leave them down below in the comments. Love to hear what you're doing to your offset smoker. And if you want to find out more about the PitmasterX offset smoker, which by the way, personally I think it's the best offset smoker built in Europe. So go check out our website. You can find all the details there, and you can email us if you need more information, or if you want something custom done for your offset smoker. So we can talk about that too. I hope you guys find it interesting. I'm just going to continue with another layer, getting it even hotter and making sure everything polymerizes and get even more shiny, and just doing that nerdy stuff. And I'll probably be here for another hour or two just to make sure I got all spots seasoned. I want to go. But hey, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Until then, eet smakelijk and keep on grilling. Officially the video is over, but I feel that I still need to show you guys this. Look at that. It's now raining. I've been letting the offset smoker cool down outside, and look at what that re-seasoning does. Just gonna look at that. It just makes the whole surface waterproof. It's now protected against the rain, so it's been sitting outside. And that's why I go in with a blowtorch and make all these little parts seasoned. So when the water comes on, it's just protected. And that's why my offset smoker deserves a spa day every year.